Hey, gorgeous Taurus babes. Welcome to July 2019. And oh my goodness, the more I look into July, the more powerful I realize the energy is working with us. And the more I'm like, take a deep breath, my friends. I'm actually learned over the last few years to appreciate months like this and enjoy the heck out of them. This is kind of, for me, a month like July with 2 eclipses and a Mercury retrograde. These are the months that we learn to surrender to mystery and surprise and to really have fun with it. And actually, Taurus, you guys, the note that came up for you very quickly was this idea that, you are going to be talking a lot. You're going to be exchanging ideas. Ideas are going to be coming in and through you, right and left. Concepts, ideas, connections. But here's the thing. You're going to want to, an idea is going to come to you, a conversation is going to come to you, connection is going to come to you. You're going to want to set it in stone. Figure it out. Get the plot laid out. Move on it. And have the next 6 months figured out. And I'll tell you right now, relax. You're not supposed to get all your conclusions this month. And the ideas, the connections, the experiences you are going to have coming through for you in July are going to be, they're going to be different than you expect them to be. They're going to work in a different way, and they are not meant to be done in July. In fact, we are meant to hold July very gently. This is a healing month. This is a month of healing. And I say that because we have this opportunity right now. The North Node of the Moon has been in Cancer for a little while, but for about a year, I would say already, isn't it? Something like that. The North Node of the Moon has moved into this sign of healing, of nurturing, of the mother, of the moon. And we have these eclipses in that sign as well. And we are in Cancer season, and this Mercury retrograde is moving back into Cancer. And so we have this rare ability right now to soften, to allow healing to occur. And we need to take the time to do that. So let's talk through some of the things that are going on. So we have a new moon in Cancer on July 2nd. Now that is a total solar eclipse. It's only visible in a small part of the world in South America. So we're going to get the energy hit though, right? Ooh, 2 cards already came through. 7 of Cups, Knight of Wands. Now that's happening in your 3rd house of communication, right? And then we have a lunar eclipse. It's a full moon in Capricorn, lunar eclipse that is happening on July 16th, and that's happening in your 9th house. So 3rd and 9th house are these communication houses. They're these idea houses. They're where we make our short-term plans and our long-term plans. Our community, the immediate people we're talking to around us, and then our big philosophical ideas. So you are getting a huge revolution in the way you're looking at the world. 10 of Swords, that's been coming up. Eclipses do bring with them a bit of a death and rebirth, right? I mean, you think about the light getting blotted out and coming back around. This is a time where anything that's no longer serving us is getting stripped away. It's getting shifted. Now, you may be noticing that in the way you're thinking about things, the way you're problem solving, the way you're viewing the world are getting huge shakeups. And that can bring about a lot of really beautiful connections. You may be noticing that you're having conversations with people that can help you see in new ways. Wheel of Fortune, oh yeah, you guys are so revolutionary right now. Uranus actually has a really beautiful conversation going on with that new moon in Cancer total solar eclipse. Uranus is in your sign right now, and so you are all meant to be revolutionizing in ways that none of the other signs are. It's very personal to you right now. Justice, yeah. We're balancing some things out as well. So we have the new moon and the full moon. They're both eclipses. They are challenging the way we look at mother and father energy. They are challenging the way we are looking at our internal healing space and our external performer, right? They are challenging the way that we ask for help and ask others to help nurture us, and where we need to take responsibility for our own healing. And this is more of a note for everybody, but you guys are also going to be feeling this. So once again, there's a lot of energy coming at you. Taurus, you guys are going to be moving and shaking. 7 of Swords. Yep. There's a lot of sorting through this month, though. It's kind of like taking inventory. Hermit. There's a lot of inventory taking going on in July. So it's where you sit down and these eclipses, and then the Mercury retrograde, which begins on July 9th in Leo, fellow fixed sign, moves back into Cancer on July 19th, continues move back until July 30th. So it goes from your 4th house into your 3rd house. So Mercury retrograde and 2 eclipses, and then the Sun and Saturn are opposing. Venus is opposing Saturn. It's one of those months where there's a lot of oppositions and there's a lot of eclipses. Well, 2 eclipses. Hierophant. There you are. You're taking stock and you're getting rid of anything that no longer serves you, right? And so that is taking everybody to a really deep place, because we can't take everything with us. We don't want to, especially if you're ready for a new life. Like I said, you guys are some of the most revolutionary people right now. You are helping to evolve yourselves, but also collectively your energy is just very important to us right now. And so you're experiencing some of these eclipses and things in a way that other signs are not. And really for you, the growth is nonstop. And you are constantly morphing into the next version of the next version. A lot of stuff is going to be pulled up for you. You got a couple 7s in this reading. You know, and 7s are about spiritual ascension. They're about cohesion with our higher selves and letting that stream of knowledge come through us so that we can work through the world in a healthy way. We start with 7 of Cups. So this new moon in Cancer is going to be very dreamy for you. Let it take you with it. Let it take you with it. You may have some scary thoughts come through, but you're also going to have beautiful visions as well. And you need this time to float through this space in order to understand what you need next. A prayer for Taurus that I think you guys maybe will use this month in a really profound way is to pray to relax enough to be able to hear what you need to hear, know what you need to know, and to be open enough to hear and know it. And that is something that the 7 of Cups is bringing up for me right now, because here's the thing. Okay, you have a Knight of Wands in the midst of the 7 of Cups and 10 of Swords. Can you see that? Which is a very interesting placement for a fiery, passionate, forward-focused energy like the Knight of Wands. You know, he has a reputation of being inconsistent and intense. And he's here between the 7 of Cups, a card of emotional, spiritual reassessment, and the 10 of Swords, a card of death and transformation. So whatever is going on with this Knight of Wands is getting changed. Something's transmuting here and shifting out and away. Now that can be in a love relationship, sure. That can be within yourself. There can be a way that you've moved through the world where you demanded that things be done your way, or that you demanded that things be done in a specific sense, and that's going away. It can be in your career. It can be in somebody around you. I have a feeling this is a person that's around you. It's an experience that's around you. It could also just be like an institution that's around you, a job that's around you that's getting transmuted and shifted out. The first 2 weeks of this month, all the way through July 16th, when we have that full moon in Capricorn, these 2 weeks are weeks of profound revelation and changeover. You know, things are not going to be the same. Things are not going to feel the same. And it's an important time to listen very carefully in. It doesn't mean you have to have all your answers, but it does mean that anything that needs to be shifted around will be shifted around, and for you that has to do with this Knight of Wands. Some part of that life is going away, it's shifting out, it's sloughing off, it's dying away, and leaving room and space for you for the next thing, which is also Wheel of Fortune. So these are 2 10s, right? This is 10 of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune is a 10. Tens are completions and beginnings, right? It's the 1 and the 0, and it's the culmination of something. It's the closeout of something. So what's really interesting for you is the first half of this month is about closing something out. And I think these eclipses are really going to help you do this. Odds are, with these tens like this is something that you have been preparing to close out or desiring to close out for quite some time. This is probably something that you've been thinking about and working through for quite a while, at least the last 6 months, if not more. This is something that you have been doing diligent work to figure out. This isn't necessarily going to be surprising, right? This isn't something that you necessarily is coming out of left field. But it is that sense that it is time for it to close kind of gently and naturally, where maybe it's felt a little challenging to close it out. Maybe it's felt like it hasn't been quite the right time to fully release. So this is kind of energy of unhooking from something that has been maybe sucking your energy from the side for a little bit. This is an energy of releasing any tethers that you might have to scenarios or people that aren't serving you anymore. And like I said, I don't think this is a surprise to you. I think this is something you have been grappling with for some months, and you do feel ready this month to do it. So these eclipses will really help you do that. Now, what does that bring about? There is this deep spiritual wisdom. You got so many major arcana cards in this reading, which means we're hitting up right against something that has to do with your core identity and what that core identity is starting to shape into. You know, we can get really stuck into core identity. I'm a fellow fixed sign, you guys. I'm a Leo, and I love my Tauruses because these are just the heart-centered love givers, right? Taurus and Leo. But fixed signs tend to get stuck on their identity, the way that it looks, the way that it feels, and you're hitting right up against pieces of that that are gracefully floating away, but that can be uncomfortable because you are meant to have greater balance, right? The next card after that Wheel of Fortune is Justice. Now, this, once again, it reminds me of untethering. It reminds me of cleaning up something. It reminds me of cutting off like a rough edge. So you have like a nice, smooth, clear line, right? Justice is getting that final conclusive, I know, but that's really interesting, right? Because what was one of the first things I said today is that conclusive answers are a little evasive this month. This is not about jumping to conclusions. This is not about saying, okay, did the process, now I know, here we are, done, boom, over. It's definitely not that type of month. This is the type of month where you are going into the mystical, dreamy woods, and you are not on the lookout for anything specific. You are allowing Source to bring you the talismans, the answers, the energies that you need, and you have to kind of just be willing to wander around this wood. However, for you guys, and the first half of this reading definitely has that feeling to it. You know, it's like you know what you need to close out, but how that comes about and how that clicks in soul-wise, dream-wise, energy-wise, even action-wise is going to be really subtle, and it's going to come in a way that isn't necessarily something pre-planned. However, you are getting some clarity. You are getting some knowing. Now, here's the thing. You're getting knowing. You're getting answers. You're getting that culminating, close-out energy where you can feel at peace with what the last era brought you. And you can feel at peace about what you want next. You know, the Justice card gives us that crisp, clear knowing. Now, this is a balanced, rational knowing, right? So this isn't about being reactive whatsoever. This is about that kind of just, it is. It is what it is. There is no judgment, good or bad, on it. But that doesn't mean you're meant to move on everything right away. In fact, you're being pulled ever deeper in to some kind of internal revolution in who you are. You have another 7. The 7 of Swords. Now, you have been freed from who you once were. You have been freed from the life you once lived. But you're still looking over your shoulder. You still feel that you maybe need to disarm an enemy, that you need to sneak through the night, that there has to be a difficulty, that there has to be an uncertainty. Because in this freedom, in this quiet, in this clarity, there aren't the sounds and the noises that there once were, that you had to spend your energy looking out for, that you had to spend your energy monitoring and taking care of. It is quiet. It is reflective. It is simple. There is nothing that you need to analyze or question or second guess or spend time on thinking and thinking and thinking. And you're looking for those things to think and think and think about. You're looking for something to hold on to in the way that you used to do it, because you're now in this space where we are ruled by the Hermit and the Hierophant. Fellow earthy energies right here, right? Now, the Hermit and the Hierophant are deeply spiritual beings. One seeks his answers out in the wilderness, in the quiet, in the solitude. The other seeks his answers in the institutions, in the things that are established in our culture. But both listen to divine guidance, right? They both listen in. They are both channels for higher wisdom. They are both channels that take their time to do things well. These are peacekeepers, right? They're teachers as well. These are elders. These are our deepest, oldest, wisest selves. And deep, old, wise energy, it does not move fast. It does not react, right? Like when you're really plugged into that deep, wise energy doesn't jump to conclusions or judgments. It sees things for what they are, and there's a simplicity to it. And there's also no need to jump on something. And here's the thing, Taurus. You guys are used to putting yourselves in the fire. Trial by fire. You've got to push through it no matter what, even if it's hard, even if it's miserable, even if it's not bringing you joy or reward. You got to push yourselves through it. You got to make it happen, even if it's no longer what you want, whether that's a person or a job that's just not rewarding, or a project or a mental way. You are being redirected over and over and over again now that Uranus is in your sign. It will continue to happen until you're feeling ready to step into this, to be in that wise knowledge. And the thing with the wise knowledge is that it says, yes, it is quiet, it is simple. I don't need to push through all this. I don't need to hold everybody else's process, everybody else's issues on my shoulders. I'm also wise enough to know that I will be surprised. New opportunities will come in to meet me. New answers will come in to meet me. I won't know what they're going to look like, so why not keep it simple right now as I listen and as I wait in the quiet? Why not savor this weird mystical wood that I'm walking through? And that is really your homework assignment. That was one of the first things that I thought of when I thought of you guys. I thought, you're meant to just be walking through this wood. It's not a scary wood. It's not a dark wood. This wood is beautiful. There's sunlight coming through the trees. Yes, it's kind of misty. It's kind of, you can't see more than 10, 20 feet ahead of you. And little beings pop out of the trees and say hi, bunnies, and you're being directed. You're being called to wander through that calmly, because you're no longer where you were. Where you were is kind of like before we got to the woods, and you were living that life, and that life involved the hardship and the uncertainty, it involved the looking over your shoulder, it involved the paranoia, it involved the extra effort. And you're now in the wood. And the wood is taking you someplace where I'm telling you those things just can't exist. And even in the wood, it can't really exist. In the woods, you have to just listen. So this month, you are being guided to new connections, maybe even another earth sign that's taking you away from this old Knight of Wands energy and into something very different. But this month, I guarantee you, is not going to look the way you think it's going to look. Even, you might have some kind of revelation on that Cancer new moon and then think, okay, I know where this is all going. And you will still be surprised. So even if you think July 3rd or 4th that you've got it figured out and you know what this is going to look like, be aware that by the time we hit Leo season on July 23rd, and then we start moving, and then all this energy starts moving into Leo, and we start getting into that playful energy, that you will be surprised by where this wood is taking you. But it's taking you somewhere so pristine. Somewhere where there's no longer the need to have your guard up all the time, where you need to be expending all of your energy. This is a place of deep spiritual knowing. And I know it'll be scary to get into that quiet, because what if everything falls apart? What if nothing ever comes to find me? What if the answers don't come? They will. I promise. We got the Hierophant. That's the Taurus card to close out this reading. You are strong. You are clear on your vision, on your path. You have the tools to do this. Absolutely. You've been preparing this whole time. Anything that gets swiped away, anything that gets cleared up here, any clarity that comes to you is stuff that you have been preparing for all year. All year. Now is just the time to start fully stepping in. That door is closing behind you, and it's supposed to, because you don't want to live that life anymore. You don't want to be that anymore. It's all complete. You've done it. You've learned it. You've seen it. It's time for something different. I love you guys so much. So, so much. You can find me on Instagram at SarahVerba. You can also find me on my website, SARAHTAROT.com. I'll leave all my info in the description box so you can get in touch with me for private readings. I'll be opening up sessions in August, September, October. So you can kind of start to think about that right now. My calendar's a bit closed, but I'm working on opening up more sessions in a little bit. I'm sending you guys so much love for July. I am wearing PinkLune, and of course she has not been making these specific pieces recently, but she is on a crown kick that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. If you've seen some of my other videos, you will see the crowns that I have worn that she has created. They're amazing, so I'll leave her Etsy shop below. I will see you guys in August for more fun, more excitement. Please take good care of yourselves. Enjoy the foggy, mystical, magical woods, and I will talk to you in August.